Hello, everybody. This is Matt Tognacci. I'm with Sunny Pressure Washing. I want to talk to you guys today about the importance of reviews and how to get them, and basically the role that they can play in your business. So, I'm talking about specifically Google reviews. There's a lot of added benefits to things like Yelp reviews and recommendations on Nextdoor. Obviously, those are higher, they're harder to get, but they're a higher quality type of recommendation or review. The thing about them is that obviously Nextdoor is going to create buy-in and social approval when you it's a more powerful review because the people, your consumers, they're seeing, okay, other consumers just like me are recommending these people. And then with Yelp, it's a lot harder a review on there is a lot more powerful than a review on Google because they're a lot harder to get, and they're synced up with Apple Maps and Siri. And so when people search, and Bing, and so when people search for services and you have a lot of reviews on Yelp, you're going to rank higher and be more relevant because of your Yelp presence. So Yelp is not as powerful on Google, but it is very powerful still, but in these other sources like Bing and Apple Maps and Siri, when people talk to text and search for companies that offer your services, they're going to be using Apple Map or Yelp a lot of times. So those two, Nextdoor and Yelp, are very powerful and important to kind of build a presence on. But I want to talk specifically about Google because that's where we have the most experience, and we've seen been able to reap a lot of the benefits of that. And I've also spent a lot of time learning about it and being able to kind of fine tune our presence on that. So the thing about reviews is they're hard to get. It's like one bad one can hurt you, but you need about 10 to 50 good ones to help you. So or it's kind of like one star review is equivalent to 10 or 50 5-star reviews. So you really want to get as many as you possibly can. So there's a couple of tricks and tips to it that I have. So one thing we do, we'll wait every quarter. So we'll go about 3 or 4 months, and then we'll text everybody that we've serviced, and we'll say, hey, will you leave us a review? Hey, will you leave us a review? And so that it's important to try and get them. We also hit them right after we do the service. So whenever we do the service, we send a follow-up link that asks how their service was. Would they give us a thumbs up or thumbs down? And then do they recommend us? And so based off that, it'll take them to the review page, or it'll take them to a feedback page where they can tell us what they wanted us to do better or differently. So you want to hit them right after the service, and then also a follow-up every quarter, which also serves as a marketing tool to kind of stay in front of them. But you also want to use that as a way to try and get more reviews. So we'll just say, basically, I send them a link. I say, will you please leave us a review on Google? And I send them the link, and I just copy and paste that to everyone that we've serviced in the past 3 months or so. And then you'll get a big jump, maybe 20 reviews, and then depending on how many people you're servicing. And then so another thing I do is I always ask family and friends, obviously. And then when you meet new friends or go in new friend circles, you definitely want to ask those people. If you're in a network that kind of has a revolving door, like I skateboard a lot, and so I'll meet a ton of different people at the skate park, so I'll always be asking them for reviews. And then people are willing to help out. And so another kind of smart way to get reviews, so every review has a link that you can share, right? And so that URL or that hyperlink, what you do is you take that and you turn that into a QR code. And so now you've got a QR code that people can scan to leave you a review. And so now you've got a QR code. So you want to print that out. It's like $10 maybe to own the QR code. There's some that do it for free, but you want to be careful because you don't want to print this out on a bunch of stuff and then it goes missing or you can't get it back. So you print out your QR code, you buy the QR code, and then now that you have the QR code, you put that on paper, and then what you're going to do is distribute that and utilize that as much as feasibly possible. So what I've done is I've gone to the bank and taken out, give the bank $400 in cash, and they'll give you back $2 bills. And so obviously you got to call them and make sure they have it, but so you get a stack of 200 $2 bills, and then you go to the mall or you go to a local campus, college campus, and you have your QR code printed out, and you're like, hey, will you give me a review? I'm having this competition with people at work where I'm trying to see who can get the most reviews, and I want to win. And can I give you $2 and you leave me a review? And they're brand new. Sometimes you can get brand new crisp $2 bills. So that's a way to do it. And they just scan it from their phone and they leave a review, write something, and you're good to go. The other thing is, so that's basically a very helpful tool that we've used is you need to have the QR code printed out because you want to give it to the techs for when they're done with the job. They can have the customer scan it. You can have the customer scan it. You just want to have that with you all the time. And then the next thing is, and you can screenshot it, keep a picture of it on your phone. I mean, whatever you want to do to make it easier. And then the next thing, another cool tip is you can have competitions within your community, within your work, within your team, to where it's so right now we have one going on where if my team gets more reviews than me to combine, then I'm adding $50 to each of their checks. And then if I get more than them cumulatively, then they I think they have to bring me breakfast every day for a week, each of them. So I'm gonna win for sure, but I think I have a better wager in my favor anyways too. So that's kind of a thing that you can do is have competitions, be all right, if we get to 200 reviews this week, everybody gets $100 or something like that, and get everyone on board, and they'll send links to their friends, they'll send links to their family members, all this stuff, and they'll type out a script that has all the links for you, like Yelp, Google, whatever, and then be hey, we're doing this thing at work, will you please leave us a review? It'll help me out a bunch. And so I mean, if you get everyone involved and make it a fun thing, then you'll be amazed at how quickly your reviews shoot up. And so those are some helpful tips on how to get reviews. And now I want to say why reviews are so essential. So obviously I mentioned there is customer buy-in that occurs when people see it's a social factor. It's oh, this place sucks or this place is great. Then people are just going to take it as matter of fact. I mean, they're going to believe what they read and what they see. So the thing is, you want to have a platform that says this company is good and your company is good. That's super important. So do what you can to get as many reviews as possible, because when people look to see who they want, they're going to look at reviews. And so we've had a ton of people tell us, I loved your reviews, I read your reviews online, they were great. All of that stuff is super duper important. So you really want to have a ton of reviews. Another thing is that Google is so powerful in just the world in general. But when it comes to marketing your small business, there's probably 3 or 4 tiers of Google. So you've got the SEO organic listings, you've got the Google My Business listings, you've got Google Guaranteed, and then you've got AdWords. So all of these things work together in some way, and some of them work together more so than others. But so the thing is, the reviews impact Google My Business 1,000 times, 1,000%. So when you're making a Google when you have your Google listing, there's different components to it that you really want to make sure you take care of. But in particular, the reviews help your Google rating and Google My Business page rank a lot higher, and they make it look more relevant because it says, oh, this person has their stuff going on, this person is active, this person is trustworthy. All of that stuff, Google takes that information and uses it to say this is a service provider that we recommend customers seeing. So it takes all that information and then ranks you higher. Basically, there's only 3 or 4 spots that show up based off where somebody is, and so you want to be in that spot. You want to have your reviews on fire, you want to have great reviews, and you want to have a ton of stuff going on your Google My Business page, because Google is going to look at you, and they have an algorithm that says it's based off reliability, trust, and relevancy. So the more trustworthy you can look, the better it is. The more relevant you can look, the better it is. And the more reliable you are by having a ton of reviews consistently, more so than the rest, and highly rated, that's going to help you tremendously with ranking higher. So, I mean, there's a ton of stuff that goes into it. One thing too that's important to know is, like, you need about 100 5-star reviews for a 1-star review to not make a difference. So basically, if, like, we have a trash hauling company and we have 115 Google reviews on it, and we have 1 4-star review and 1 1-star review, so but we still have a 5-star rating, and we didn't get those from service, believe it or not. It was actually a pretty wild situation, but we got tagged on this. We posted a job description, and it this group on Reddit called Anti-Work didn't like our job listing or our job ad, and they thought it was offensive or whatever, so they posted it on Anti-Work Reddit thread, and then we went viral by all these people who hate capitalism, and they basically doxed us, and they commented like, oh, these people suck, these people are ridiculous, these people are crazy, and they just hate capitalism or hate work, it was just crazy. But so they left us bad reviews, so that's why that happened. But the thing is like, you want to have a ton of reviews, and you want to respond to the reviews too. I mean, people get reviews and they don't put a lot of effort into it, or they neglect it, and so it's one of those things where Google is very much so like, the more you put in, the more you get out. So it's funny, like, all the stuff that doesn't seem like it matters, like responding to reviews, writing back, asking people to get pictures, or take pictures, like all those things. There's so much stuff, and I'll make another video about Google My Business listings, but all that stuff is so important when it comes to reviews, and there's a lot of value in taking care of that. So hopefully that's helpful and gives you guys some insight on reviews, how to get them, why they're important, and the different kinds. But we'll talk more later.